Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now, we're getting a push lower after rejecting 2,500. 2,500, a very clear level here for the day's action. And so far, we've seen price come right up to 2,500 and back off of it very quickly. A retest into the 2498s was also rejected, and right now, on an initial jobless claims of 6.648 million, we are seeing the market pushed lower now from 2490 to the current 2464s. So we are seeing quite a quick push downward. We're seeing a rejection of the previous session's midpoint from below. We're seeing a rejection of 2500 from below, and the 2503 level, which is the 8-period average. So remember, I've been talking about how price has been inside the bearish PIMA trigger zone. Yesterday, it closed below it for the first time here. Retesting here could lead to a big sell-off back downward. So again, right now, this is showing the early signs of failure at this zone. We are still at, inside the key range here. They're still inside this range that comes across these lows, and basically that low is going to be about 2,400, 2,375, right in that zone. So we could theoretically drop down into this zone, and if we reject those lows, we could bounce back up. So again, we have to not only push through recent lows here, but the 2,400, 2,374 lows would be very important to opening up a retest of those lows. One more thing about this, we have a very clear compression here that's played out each of the last 5 days, which means we had a 5-day range that was compressed here and also here and now also there. So that's a very narrow 5, 6, 7-day range, and soon we will get expansion from this range, and it's likely going to be big. You can see here that if we were to break out either to the upside or downside, we're going to see about 430 points of movement in that direction over a 5-day range basis. Again, since this is a 5, 6, 7-day range, we can also increase that and get a better reading. So things are compressed. We're on the precipice here of perhaps seeing expansion one way or another, and once we do, it could be a very, very busy week ahead, as we could see some aggressive movement in the direction of the break for 3 to 5 days, if not more. Okay, let's take a look now at the NQ. The NQ also rejecting here. This one rejecting 7,600 from below. 7,600 from below. You'll see it right there. That's also the 8-period average, and it's also the previous session's midpoint. And this thing is dropping from 75.60 right now down to 74.60, so a quick 100 handle drop there. You also see a very tight range that is played out over here as well. And again, if we break down out of this range, it will fuel another retest of this low, and that could give us a rejection opportunity on a short-term basis to return to these recent highs. So again, right now, got to see how this plays out moving forward, but at the moment, we're seeing a bit of weakness here, and we could be looking at, again, a move down to the recent support low here, which is going to be 73.10. So a violation of 7,300 would open up lows down below. A rejection of that zone could keep things back in the range. But the way things are looking at the moment, quite a bit of selling pressure from the highs, the 8-period and the previous session's mid. That could open up a test through the lows of the trading range. Okay, let's take a look now at crude oil. You'll see here crude oil getting a little bit of a pop here. This one's up 9% here today. 9%. On $1.87 here, change from the previous session's close. One thing you'll see right here is this rejection tail here, the midpoint right there. Price closed above it in the prior session, and that's enough to start getting things going through the tail and higher in many cases. So right now you're seeing that move. The other thing you're seeing right here is this is the previous month's close price, and this is the previous month's low. It has clearly taken the previous month's close bid, and the only level left to test above would be the previous session's midpoint, or at least the pivot range. Pivot range starts right here about 24.60 or so, 24.72, You also have the mid pivot right here, and then you have the midpoint of the previous month's range. That's pretty high. But again, if you're going to reject levels like the previous close and low when they're very close to each other, you tend to bounce back into the monthly pivot range. Again, as I've mentioned before, to hold 20.5, one last thing here, to hold 20.5, let me zoom in a bit better here. Right there, that's the key range high, key range low, that's 20.5. It has basically rejected 20.5 right here. To reject and stay above that zone would suggest 24.49 as the next upside target on the very short-term basis. So let's see how that plays out. Again, a very narrow range on a 4 and 5 day range basis. You can see it here at 51%. Soon a breakout could be coming in this one as well. Lastly, taking a look at gold futures. Gold right now trading 1620. A few days back it had a trouble with 1630, and already this morning we're seeing a rejection come in on a 15-minute chart basis at the 1630 or just shy of that zone. And so again, we've gotten the flow up to that area. I would keep an eye on 1630. That's 1630 or 1628 right here. You can see price was holding above it. It failed here, and now it's coming back to that zone. That could be an opportunity to sell it for another push back down. So again, that's going to be a key level to watch today. Above 1630 opens up the next zone above to 1675. So that's the next zone above 1630. Very important, as it has been clear support for a time and then became clear resistance, and is currently showing signs of resistance at the moment. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.